Last year I used to do. You don't come to class, you use class, you come out. No, you don't live in class actually. You live in private class and the doctor will bring that. She's not in the meeting that I live. Oh no, good. Meeting fine.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone, once again.
Yes, I come back.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, we're about to commence today's class in English. So, the host has been transferred to me, so I have muted everyone now. So, then while the class commence, if you have any comments, any observation, any question you think you need to ask, just drop your comments in the chat room while I would attend to the comments later. I hope that is clear. So, thank you. Please, I'll be sharing my screen now, and for me to share my screen, I would not be able to, read your chat or any comments for now. I'm using a phone and not a laptop, so please bear with me. But after a few minutes, I will come to the chat room to check for your comments, your questions, and every other thing. Please, can you all hear me? Drop your comments in the chat room if you can hear me, please. Can you all hear me? Drop your yes, let me know if you can hear me. And if my voice is loud and clear. I'm here to receive any comments. Seems you guys cannot hear me. Hello? Okay, just one person from Ololade. Okay. Then is my voice loud and clear? Loud and clear rather, sorry. Just 2 comments so far. I think we have about how many people present? We have about 11. All right, so don't let me waste my time. I think you cannot hear me. Let me share my screen. So today we'll be talking about mechanical accuracy. So in our last class, we discussed about sentence. We talked about the types of sentence, the various types of sentence, if we are classifying by the function the sentence perform, or if we are classifying by the structure of the sentence. And conclusively, we talked about the elements of a sentence. We talked about the elements of a sentence. Why we talked about the 5 basic elements, where we have the subject, the object, the complement, the adjunct, and the verb. So that's just it. So today we'll be talking about mechanical accuracy. So mechanical accuracy actually is a topic that encompasses or that comprises different aspects of English. Under mechanical accuracy, we have spelling. Under mechanical accuracy, we have punctuation. We have the use of grammar. We'll talk about the syntax, even the concord and the likes. So they are under mechanical accuracy. And this particular word of mechanical accuracy is mostly used when we talk about letter writing, essay writing. For whatever mark you will be earning for your spelling, or whatever mark you'll be losing for your wrong spelling, they will be, summed up under what is known as mechanical accuracy. So today under mechanical accuracy, we're talking about correct spelling of words. Correct spelling of words. Just basically spelling. We're talking about spelling today. Now, correct spelling is very essential in written works. Very, very important. While speaking, you actually don't need correct spelling. What you need while speaking is correct pronunciation. But for whatever you will be writing, it is very, very important, very, very essential that you do what you spell correctly. Because all words in a sentence, I wrote sentences. I made a mistake, sorry. So all words in a sentence should be correctly spelled and written. That is, should be correctly spelled and written. Because wrong spellings of words can cause confusion. There are so many confusions that most times we come across online. someone who wants to write there, the person might write there. Do you get? For instance, the person intends to write there, the THERE, there, and the person wrote there. You get? So sometimes this mistakes can be so confusing if the writer or anyone, the author or the owner of any written word has not spelled whatever word he's using correctly. So this is why it is very, very essential that correct spelling must be taken care of whenever we are writing. Now, this is wrongly spelled word. Okay, this means that wrongly spelled word can be misinterpreted to mean something different entirely. Okay, there's a mistake in my slide. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry for that. So a wrongly spelled word can be misinterpreted to mean something different entirely. That is what I've just said earlier. It causes confusion. For instance, someone who wants to spell farming, that is to go to the farm, to plant and to harvest crop, and the person mistakenly spelled farming, which is lack of rainfall and other stuff like that. Do we get now? So this wrong spelling can cause confusion and it can also lead to misinterpretation of the intended meaning by the writer. Yeah. Okay, let's look at another example. We have principle. Someone intends to spell principle and she spells principle. You know, they have pronouns, in the same way. Principle, principle. Yeah. Only in some rare cases you find people pronouncing the other one as principal. But the correct pronunciation is principle. The first one is principle, while the second one is also principle. So they are pronounced the same way. But for someone who wants to write about probably the second principle now, which would mean the head of a particular management, or let's say the principal of a school, and the person mistakenly spelled principal, the first one, which ends with A-L-E. This can be so confusing and it may lead to misinterpretation. Look at the second one, to diary and diary. So all this can create, oh my God, lots of mistake here. I'm sorry. All this can create, create lots of confusion. I'm sorry, I was rushing while I was playing my slide. I'm very sorry, I apologize for this. So all this can create lots of confusion for anyone who is reading a written work. And for this reason, I will not send my slides to you immediately. I have to effect the correction. Now, more importantly, students lose lots of the students lose a lot of mark for failing this, the lose of LOOSE, which is different from this particular lose. They have different meaning. And that's from the candidate, and the examiner finds it difficult to understand the content of the letter. For such reason, the students will lose a lot of mark. Or should be, at least, examiner is finding it difficult to make out what a word is or what the word should be. If the spelling written by the candidate is very terrible, we get now. So a terrible spelling can lead to confusion, can confuse an examiner, and as such, the examiner will not be able to make out what the word is or what the word should be because of the very terrible spelling. The word therefore becomes meaningless. If the examiner of a written examination is unable to make meaning, is unable to make out from whatever you have spelled, then all what you have written is what? Meaningless. Because for me to have read everything you wrote, I'm trying to read, understand, and award mark to you. But all I have read, I am finding it difficult to make meanings from all I have read. Then all you have written is also meaningless, because the essence of your written work, which is a form of communication, is to, you know what, to share meaning. They say communication is a shared meaning between the encoder and the decoder, or between the sender and the receiver. And the shared meaning we all share, or the meaning we all share together, is what the correct use and spelling of words. Because, for instance, the spelling of the farming, which I said is planting and harvesting, we share the same meaning of, okay, farming, planting, harvesting, planting for rearing animals and the like. Why the other farming? Lack of rainfall, lack of harvest, lack of, so we share the same meaning for this word. But a wrong use of word will lead to what? Lack of communication, and as such, the written word will be meaningless. Therefore, this topic is devoted to giving some hints on how to write correct spelling of words, as well as examples of some words often misspelled. So why I have particularly chosen this particular topic is to actually expose you guys to how to write correct spelling of words. There are some principles we need to know whenever we're writing, and also to expose you guys to some examples of words often misspelled. We should not assume or guess the spelling of a word. Whenever you are not sure of the spelling of a word, except in examination or you don't have access to anything in examination, or if you are not sure, you are not sure. You really spell it the way you can remember. But let's say, for instance, you're studying at home, you're talking with your friends and doing all sorts of things. Now, do not assume, in this instance, do not assume or guess the spelling of a word if you are not sure. Whenever you're not sure, you're feeling skeptical about the spelling of the word, you should not assume. No. Rather, you should check the correct spelling from your dictionary. So this is the basic principle you should live with on a daily basis. This will help you a lot. Whenever you're not just sure, you're doubting, don't guess or assume that, okay, let me guess that its spelling should be this. No. You should try to consult the dictionary and check for the correct spelling. And thank God we all use phones, and there are different or many types of dictionary you can download on the Google Play Store, the Windows Store, and even the what is it called? So Apple Store. Do we get it now? So we should not always assume the spelling of any word. Rather, we should consult our dictionary, as that is the only reliable and valid place to validate or to check for the correct spelling of any word. However, in examination hall, there is no way we can consult dictionary anymore. I guess there is no school that will allow you to go to the exam hall with your dictionary. Rather, you only go to the exam hall with whatever you've read, whatever you've committed to your memory. But in the exam hall, okay, you can be allowed to make some guess that, oh, since I don't have any choice there, let me just guess this spelling, and you just think maybe this is the correct one, maybe this is not the correct one. But if you are not in the exam, or even in a class, you should always consult your dictionary while writing your notes. Probably your lecturer is dictating. Before you write down that word, if you are not sure, then it is important for you to go to the dictionary to check for the correct spelling. That's the basic principle. Now, there are other things to note about spellings of words. One of the first things to note is that there are some words which I comes before E. There are some words in the spelling I, the letter I will always come before the letter E. For example, we have the knees, brief, retrieve, sieve, fierce, siege, thief, believe, chief, field, yield, priest. There are lots of examples. Well, with these few words, you will see, look at all the examples, then you realize, you discover that in each of the example, the letter I comes before the letter E. So this is the first thing we need to note, that there are some words where the letter I comes before the letter E. And also we have the opposite. There are some other words where the letter E comes before the what? The letter I. Now look at this one. There are some words in which the I comes after. The first one, the I comes before. Now the I comes after the letter E. For example, we have the verb. We have conceit. We have deceit, perceive, receive, conceive, seize, selling, counterfeit, dare, wait, eyes. The example, there are lots of examples. I just have to bring few examples because we have limited time to spare here. Now, in each of these examples, you will note that the letter I comes after the word, the letter E. So these are the basic principle of using I and E together in any word. There are some words. You should try to note this word. You commit them to memory that, okay, this word, in these examples, the letter I comes before the letter E. However, there are other examples like this one here, where the letter I comes after the letter E. So it simply means that you should note that it is not all in all examples or in all words that you find the letter I before the E, and also it is not in all examples or in all words that you find the letter E before the letter I. There are examples for letter E before I, while there are also examples for letter I before E. You have to commit all these things to memory and to note them very carefully whenever you want to write. Now, another thing we should note is that a word ending with a silent E loses the E if suffix beginning with a vowel is added. A word that ends with letter E will lose that letter E if suffix beginning with a vowel is added. Do we know what suffixes and prefixes? I am very sure we know. So they are basically additions. When we add another word to a word to make the meaning more comprehensive or to change the meaning. Sometimes we change it from we may use it to change the tense or sometimes to change the part of speech the word is. Do we get? So, for example, we have note. Note is spelled N-O-T-E. But note will change to notable and not notable. It simply means that we will forfeit the letter E because the able we are adding to note begins with a vowel. Do you get? We added able to note. Because able, note ends with a vowel or with E. Let's talk about E generally, a silent E because the E is not pronounced. I said note and not note or note. Do we get? So note ends with a silent E. Then we add or we want to add able to it. Able begins with a vowel sound A, or let's say a vowel generally A. The rule is that we have to forfeit the last E, the E ending the first word, ending note, because the E is silent. The in the word advice, the E is not pronounced, it is silent. And we added able to it. Able begins with a vowel sound. The basic principle is that if we have a silent E meeting a vowel sound, we have to forfeit the word, the E, because it is silent, it is not pronounced, and it is not useful. Look at value, valuable. We have forfeited the E also. Like, liking, and not like a or what. How can we even pronounce this? So that's just it. Then look at the last example, pleasure. Pleasure changes to what? Pleasurable. Pleasurable. And in the word pleasurable, the E is not there anymore. The word pleasure loses the E when we change it to pleasurable because it ends with E. Pleasure ends with E, but the E is not pronounced. However, the able we are about to add, or the able that is being added to pleasure, begins with a vowel A. And the basic principle is what? Whenever we have a word that ends with letter E, a silent one, a silent letter E, then we added, and if an affixation is added to it, this affixation, maybe suffix or prefix, begins with what? A or a vowel sound. Then the pleasure or the word will forfeit the letter E. So in each of these examples, look at the suffix. We had the suffix able, except for like where we had added liking, the ing. So that's just it. I don't think I explain what prefix and suffix means for you guys. Affixation generally. So prefix will always come, or the prefix rather will always come before the word. That is, for instance, if I want to add prefix to something, I have nation or national, then the prefix will be inter, then that's international. But for suffix, now the suffix will always come after the word, just like the note notable. So notable, advisable, valuable, and pleasurable. The word able that has been added to these different words is known as word suffix. And look at how I've written it in the beginning, that a word ending with a silent E loses the E if suffix beginning with a vowel is added. Now, the final E this time around in some words is retained. The final E in some words is retained in the formation of other words to keep the consonant soft. So there are exceptions to what I said earlier, that we remove the E if the E is silent. But here, the E again can be retained in the word formation to keep the consonant soft. Look at, we have change, and change becomes changeable. Change becomes changeable. In order to keep the consonant soft, the changeable. Look at service, serviceable, trace, traceable, notice, noticeable, and charge, chargeable. So the E here is retained for no reason other than to keep the consonant soft in the pronunciation. So it is not that we now remove the E just as the first rule. So these particular rules, what we need to do is to study very carefully, commit to our memory, and whenever we are writing, we should always note our use of words. Okay, this particular word, the E is retained. This word, the E is not retained. So I hope that is clear. So let me quickly attend to the group if you have any question or another before I proceed with the class, because the class will soon end. So let me just be sure if you guys understood what I have said so far. You can drop your comment to the group now. Someone said, okay, thank you. Should go to your device audio to enable. Okay, someone said I should unmute. I'm coming. The person that says I should unmute, okay. Unmute. I'm coming. Yeah, Miriam Ismail Badmos, you have been unmuted. Do you have anything to say? Okay, I guess there's no question or anything. So let me just continue with the class. All right. So let me continue to share my screen. I will conclude the class soon. So also, another thing we should note is that some words have their consonants doubled in the past participle and continuous form. Some words have their consonants doubled in the past participle and continuous form. That is, the consonant word will be doubled, the last one, the last consonant alphabet. Now, for example, look at occur. Occur changes to occurred or occurring. You see, we can find two R there. And initially, the word has only one R. Look at deter, deterred, deterring, propel, propelled, propelling, blur, blurred, blurring. Comfort changes to comfort or comfort. Do we get now? Comfort, comfort, comfort. Occur, occurred, occurring. In each of these examples, we'll find out that the last consonant letter, the last consonant alphabet was what? Doubled. In occur, we only had one R. We look at the example, we change it to occur, where we have two R. Occurring, two R. Deter, deterred, two R. Deterring, two R. Propelled, two L. Propelling, two L. Look at blur, just from just one R to blurred, two R. and blurry. And same thing applies to comfort. So we should note this, that there are some words. They end with just one consonant alphabet or consonant letter. But if they are being changed to the past participle or continuous, occurred is the past. Now, or occur, which is the continuous form. They have to what? Retain the first R with addition of another R. So the consonant sound, I only use R for occur. Consonant sound generally. The consonant sound will be what? Will be doubled. That's the principle. Also, some words have their consonants double on certain occasions and retain their singular consonant on other occasions. Some words have their consonants doubled. That is, some words, in some occasion, the consonant alphabet or letter will be doubled. And in that occasion, they will only be retained. Just the singular consonant letter will be retained. Now, look at it. Look at the word here, rival. Rival. Look at rivaled. Double consonant here. And look at the single consonant, rivalry. Annul, annulled, annulment. Prefer, preferred, preference. Write, written, writing. So look at the examples now. For rival, look under the double consonants, you can see we have 2 L for rival, 2 L for annulled, 2 R for preferred, and 2 T for written. But look at the other one, the other example, we have rivalry, just 1 L, annulment, just one consonant. Preference, just 1 R, just 1 consonant, and writing, just 1 consonant. So we have to note this the difference in the spelling of words and how they add or how the consonants are doubled or retained with the singular form. Also, some words retain singular consonants even in the past form. Some words would always retain their singular consonants even when in past form. Example, differ, differ, and we have differed, differ, differed, just the singular consonant, the singular letter R. Suffer, suffered, credit, credited, offer, offered, benefit, benefited, prefer, preferred. Do we get now? Prefer, preferred. In each of the example, the consonants are retained just in their singular form. They are not doubled. So we should note this. While spelling differed, don't add 2 R to it, that differed, suffered. You get credited, offered. Oftentimes people past form. Of letter Y of any word is preceded by a vowel. That is, before we now find this final Y, there is a vowel before that Y. We find a vowel before the Y, then it is retained in a plural. It simply means that that particular Y will be retained in a plural. For instance, key, key. The word key ends with Y, but the Y is preceded by E. That is, we can find E before the Y. As such, the Y will be retained in the plural. We don't have to remove it in the plural. Do you get? Unlike lorry, lorry, the L-O-R-R-Y. In the plural, lorries, the Y will be removed, because the Y is preceded by another consonant, R. Do we get? Or baby, babies. The Y in babies is what? Preceded by B, which is consonant. As such, while changing it to the plural form, we have to forfeit the Y. But this is an exception. Whenever we have the Y, the last Y or the final Y being preceded by a vowel, then the Y will be retained in plural. Look at day, days, way, ways, toy, toys, donkey, donkeys, monkey, monkeys, boys, boys. In each of the example, we'll find out that the Y, the final Y is preceded by the letter, by consonant, by a vowel rather, and as such, the letter Y is retained in each of the examples, even when changed to the words, the plural form. Now, another thing we'll talk about is dual forms. Dual forms. So, what are dual forms generally? So, under this, we should know that there are some words which have dual forms. That is, there are some words that have dual forms. That is, whose American spellings differ from British spelling. The dual form is that this particular word, we can spell it using the American style. We can also spell it using the British style. So those words have words dual forms. Although both spellings are correct, the American spelling is correct, the British spelling is correct, and they are both acceptable. However, the basic principle is that one has to be consistent with the use of these words. If you want to use the American style, be consistent with it. Not that you use American style for the first sentence or first paragraph, and the second paragraph will find you using the British style, then you are not consistent. You get, and that's against the rule of mechanical accuracy. Under the rule of mechanical accuracy, you have to be consistent with whichever form you want to use. If you intend to use the American English, that's good for you. And if you intend to use the British style, that's good for you. But mind you, here in Nigeria, the most acceptable form is the British. We get now. So you have to be consistent. You have to stick to one form, whichever one you want to use. Do not mix both forms in your writing. You don't mix American and British style in your writing. Examples. Look at examples of British forms and American form. Here we have program. The program that is spelled Programe is British. While the one spelled as Program is American. Look at meter, Meter, and Metre, which is the British form, and the Meter, which is the American form. Look at defense, DEFE, NCE, and DEFE, NSE. Look at color. The first one has a letter U. The second one does not have. The letter U is omitted in the second, in the American form. Look at behavior. Behavior also, in the British form, we have the letter U retained. However, it is omitted in the American form. Look at this. This in the British form is spelled DISC, while in the American form it is spelled DISK. Then look at flavor, FLAVOUR, and in the American form it is spelled FLAVOR. So with these few examples, other similar words will take same style. Look at color and flavor. You see that same rule, and even behavior, color, behavior, and flavor. Same rule applies to these three words. Which simply means that if you have any other word that is spelled this way, then the same rule applies to them. Look at the rule. In the British form, the U will be written COLOUR. Look at flavor too. FLAVOUR. Yeah, the E is written, or the U is written rather. But in the American form, the U is omitted. And same thing applies to behavior. We get. Look at the meter. In the British form, we have the METRE, while in the American form, we have the METER. Same thing applies to spellings like center. Center. Center in the British form is spelled CETRE, while in the American form it is spelled CETER. So we should note this also, and we should try to read more, read extensively. You find so many examples online. Try to surf online, read about them, commit them to memory, and never make mistake of mixing these two different forms in writing. You try to be consistent. That okay, I want to be using British English because British English is the WAEC standard in Nigeria. British English is what my school is using. But if you're using American style, then there's no problem about that. You stick to American style. Just stick to it and be consistent. Also, there are some words that have different spellings for different parts of speech. That is, these words, whenever they are in the verb form, they are spelled differently from whenever they are in the noun form. That is, some words have different spellings for verbs, and they have different spellings for nouns. Example, the prophecy and the prophecy. Look at, in the noun form, we have the C before the Y, CY. And in the verb, we have SY. The C is being replaced by an S. Look at advice and advice. Advice as a noun is spelled ADVICE. However, as a verb, it is spelled ADVISE. Look at practice. Practice as a noun is spelled PRACTICE. However, in the verb form, it is spelled PRACTICE. Also relief. Relief. In the noun form, we have the F, just RELIEF. However, in the verb form, we have relief. Relief. So you will not say I was relieved. No, you say I was relieved of, let's say, my assignment, my responsibility, or my appointment. Not I was relieved. Some people say I believe, which is, you have to say I believe. My belief. You get my belief. I believe. You should note the use there. Even in advice and advice, I can say, while talking to someone, I can say, my advice to you is never to what? To overlook or never to underestimate. I'm talking to someone now that my advice, okay, let's say my advice to you is never to underestimate the advice of your mother. Do you get now? Or let's say, I would advise you never underestimate the advice of your mother. I would advise. The first advice here is what? A verb. I would advise, which ends with SE.
Okay.
I would advise you never underestimate the advice of your mother. The advice of your mother, advice in such instances now spelled ADVICE. Do you get it? So we need to be very careful of these spellings whenever we are writing that, okay, whenever it is in the verb form, it ends with SE or S generally. The C changes to S in verb form. Why the C is retained whenever to 15 minutes to round up. So, someone, good afternoon. I can't hear. Wow. We just ended the class, so probably you could not enable the device audio. So, if you have any question, please raise up your hand so I can unmute you. Then the question and answer will be coordinated. So you can now unmute yourself. If you have any question, you can now unmute yourself. Or drop your question in the chat room. You can unmute yourself if you have any question, please. Yeah. Oh, I thought this guy wanted to ask a question. Okay. I'm waiting for you guys if you have any question. Okay, since there is no question, okay, thank you very much. So I will try to effect the correction on the slide and send to the WhatsApp group so that you guys can read and commit to your memory.
Okay, sir.
Karim, I mean, do you have anything to say? Do you have any question? Okay. All right, so this will I think there's nothing more. And I don't know if the class teacher is around, if he has anything to say. All right, the absence of the class teacher will come to the end of today's class. So I will pray my mighty gospel alive till tomorrow for the next section and beyond. So please remain safe, and I will try to send the materials to you guys so that you can study. You can also browse online to read lots of examples on the principles I've given you guys, especially on the British and American English, so that you can know the difference and you know the different examples. So thank you very much. We'll meet next week. Good day. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming too.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate.
Okay, for the recording, I actually don't. Someone is talking about the recording, but you get the recording in the group chat. You get the recording in the group chat. I'm not the one recording.
Sir, can we record this class?
Yeah, someone is recording already, so I don't know the person that is recording. You can request for recording the class.
Okay, sir.
Good recording.
Okay, they said there is going to be Kahoot game, so I'll be leaving, but I will not exist for all. I will just leave on my own so that you can go on with your game. I hope there is a way I can leave on my own. So I've transferred the host to Miriam Ismail Badmus. Yes, she's the one in charge of the Kahoot game. I don't know. So Miriam Ismail Badmus is now the host. Please do well to transfer the host to anyone who is more responsible. So thank you.
It's Leo. It's not now. It's Leo. Okay. I'll die in you.
Leave for work, please. Mind your business.
It is Calendar you.
Why are you saying calendar for work? Calendar offended me.
Calendar in you. Is it you?
What happened to you and calendar? So what is going on now?
Everybody.
Everybody is going on.
Is here.
Who's writing everybody? I will leave this meeting now.
Leave. The very loud leave.
So what happened to calendar? Calendar, why are you defending everybody? So everybody is going to leave.
As
No.
we get should answer stop.
The class ended.
Happened to like stop my class.
What you want to say and let us forget this thing. I just explain whatever you want to do so we can know whether or not to do. Because we are going
Please
to
leave. Leave, Daddy. One Geneva. Leave, Daddy. I'm going to leave now.
The class ended.
Yes.
Miriam. What about the meeting night?
Class ended. Please leave.
I don't like this.
And the class can drink now. What's this now? I'll leave now.